You want to know, where are the prices of gold, silver, and precious metal mining stocks? Where are those prices headed? First thing we're going to do is talk about the past, do a quick review of where we've been with the metals, with the miners. Then we're going to talk about the present. And I'm going to explain to you a concept called asymmetry and why at the present time, the mining stocks, the metals are most likely presenting a very positive, favorable asymmetric opportunity for investors. It's not complicated. I'll make it real simple. Finally, we're going to talk about the future. What's going on? What were the major stories going on? What are we going to hear about in the coming weeks that will impact the price of the metals, of the mining stocks, and how we feel in general? Let's talk about it all right now. Hey, thank you for joining me here in Ron's Basement. You are important. It's important to me that you decided to spend some of your precious time right now with me here in the basement. I hope you enjoy the video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. You can subscribe, turn on bell notifications. I'm not selling you anything. I just ask that you please come back and join me in the basement. I get lonely down here. Let's do a quick review of what happened this week with the price of gold, silver, and the mining stocks. Gold was up about 1% for the week to $1,722 per ounce. Staged a pretty good comeback on Thursday morning. It actually dropped before market hours down to $1,675 per ounce. Powerfully came back. Hopefully a very good sign for what we have to expect in the future with the price of gold. Silver ended the week at $18.50 per ounce, down about 1%. Important to remember, silver is down over 30% from a high that it reached just in March of this year. So tough couple months for the price of silver. Gold's off only about 18% from its all-time high. Gold is held up a little better. And you know, when you think about it, compared to Bitcoin and some other investment options out there, gold has, we'll just say, not done well, but is fighting and is hanging in there, and silver will follow. The GDXJ ended the week at 31. Up about 2%. That's the index of the junior gold mining stocks. It, however, is down almost 43% from mid-April. The mining stocks have been clobbered, as anyone who has any money invested in the junior mining or the gold mining sector or the silver mining sector can attest. It has been really a tough go. Things are going to change. Hang in there. Many of the mining stocks are lower than they were when the COVID crash occurred. Sentiment in the mining sector is like at all-time lows, no matter what analyst you listen to, what technical analysis tool you use to measure sentiment. It is as low as it goes. And from the mud grows flowers. Things will change. That's going to move into the second part of this video, the present and the asymmetric opportunity. Asymmetric means not even. And right now, it sure appears, and I'm hearing a lot of the smart analysts say this, that the mining sector and even the metals themselves are presenting an asymmetric opportunity. What that means in simple terms is the amount of money that you stand to lose at this point is much smaller than the potential gain within the stocks that you could have or within the metals. It's asymmetric. We might lose another 20%, 30% worst case scenario, but there's potential for 300% or 400% gains on the gain side of the equation. And sentiment can't get much lower, right? It can, but it can't get much lower, and there's certainly a vast open runway for sentiment to improve in the future, which means more money coming into this sector, which means higher prices for the stocks and the metals. And we all know the strong fundamental factors supporting both the metals and the mining stocks. To back up what I just said, one of my subscribers and active commenters, RD, sent me an article from an individual or a company named Zeal Speculation and Investments. This is probably one of the best, most complete, thought-provoking articles I've read in a long, long time about the precious metal sector. I'm going to put a link to it at the top of the description below, but it just further adds evidence to the fact that things can't get too much worse within this sector. And some major news items which will help us going down the road. First, this big spoofing trial, JP Morgan, it's all out in the open now, the manipulation that occurred by JP Morgan within the metals market. It is all out in the open for all of us to see, and that will only provide us with a more fair, level playing field in the future for the metals. The US dollar still at historically high levels. Okay, it came down a little this week, but the strong dollar hurting the precious metals. It can get higher, yes, but it will wreak havoc throughout the world and even within the US economy if it gets significantly higher from here. As it likely drops, that will provide support for the precious metals. We did get news this week that initial jobless claims continue to surge, is the word I saw, the headline word. That is showing that the U.S. economy is starting to slow, which will inhibit the Federal Reserve's ability to continue to be so uber hawkish. They're going to start the pendulum back the other way to dovishness. Even just an ending of their becoming more hawkish could likely be very supportive for the precious metals. And the mainstream narrative of recession continues to grow. That too will inhibit the Fed's ability to be so hawkish and make them go more dovish. And this coming week, we'll get two critically important data points released. Number one, the Federal Reserve is going to announce their interest rate increase right now. 77% chance of a 0.75% raise, and I think that's like a 23% chance of a full 1 point raise. If the Fed does the 0.75, and if they do start to talk about their fears of recession and that they might have to adjust things because of that, that could be very, very good for the price of the precious metals. If they do a full 1% and come out with this continued super hawkish stance that it doesn't matter what happens, scorch the earth, we're going to squash inflation, that could be bad for the price of precious metals. Also, on Friday, we're going to get GDP numbers, which could show a continuation of economic contraction, recession, and if you have recession with inflation, you have stagflation, which has historically been a very, very favorable, it's like freshly tilled black soil in early May when you're planting your garden. Stagflation is a very, very fertile environment for the price of the precious metals. One thing for sure, we're going to find out, and I'm going to be here with you through it all. I appreciate you joining me in Ron's Basement. Don't forget to come back, and until next time, you be well.